Welcome to the channel, everyone. Today working on this rusty area on the cab. It's the, I guess they call it a lower cowl. I got my new piece right here, and this is the whole cowl. I was surprised all these bolt holes in these big nuts are actually with this piece here. I thought they were going to stay on the cab, but they don't. They come on this piece here. So it really helps to actually have the new piece, because it gives you a really good idea of how to take it apart as well. So I actually got a little head start on this. You can see I've got some of the spot welds drilled out up top here, and I got some of them drilled out, and I've got it disconnected to about here. So I gotta go down here and then around here and then back up over here. This is rusty. It's kind of breaking apart. Sometimes you can just take your chisel and just break it off when it's this kind of rusty. Down here, I might have to drill them out. Probably should go the other way because you can't really get your drill sideways. But I don't want to take my door off, but if I have to, I have to. I'm going to get the rest of this off, and we'll see how much that fights. So, yeah, I got my tools over here actually. I got a little punch. This marks the spot weld, because your spot weld cutter this is the spot weld cutter, and you can see it's got a little pointed deal. So that's why I take the center punch and punch it. That'll hold it in place, while the cutter on the outside cuts the spot weld. So sometimes if this won't stay in place, you do got to take a little drill and drill actual hole to hold it. Most of the time you center punch it good, and you can get it to work. But got some hammers here. I had to use a big wrench to get this bolt here out. You can see it goes in here like this, and this thing was really screaming coming out. I measured it, wrote down 1 3/4 how high this was. So hopefully I can get it back in the same as it was. This looks a little worse than what it was before. Probably gonna have to cut this whole piece out, right all the way up here and down here, to get that rust out of there. But first things first, I gotta get this cowl out of the way. Okay, so I'm working my way around, getting at these spot welds, and what I do is you just keep going around. I'm using my, well, this is really not a chisel, it's a pry bar, but But I'm going behind and I'm prying this back. Pounding it, and then you can see where your spot welds, where they are. Then once you find one, I take my punch. This one's a little difficult. I don't know if there's two there together. We'll try to get this one here. You gotta put a pretty good dimple in there so your spot weld cutter don't wander around. You're trying to just cut through the one layer. You don't want to go all the way through. And I believe that might be okay, so I believe I got this thing ready to come apart. I found a little more rot up here that I'm probably going to have to deal with. I just have to cut that right now. I did just cut this back here, and I'll go through and I'll clean the edge up later once I get this out of my way. Feels like we're still hung up. I feel like I may have missed a spot weld somewhere. I think right here. We got one more. That was it. That was what was holding that up. I may get you a shot. Maybe I'll get a picture of this. You can see all the spot welds, so if you're doing the same job. It ain't bad. Like I said, I cut this edge right here off. Now that I've got room, a straight shot, I'll go through here and I'll get the rest of these spot welds and I'll clean this off. But it doesn't look too bad. in here. I don't like the looks of that up there, but that's probably going to need a repair up on top here. But the rest of that, I think we're going to be okay. Just a little surface rust. And actually now that this is open, I can treat that before I seal this up. So I'll have to straighten that edge out with the hammer and dolly. Okay, so I got the new piece, this is first fitment really. And it fits pretty good, except for probably the most important part, which is right here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but the threaded nuts are not centered in the hole right here for that one bolt there, and then right here, this is where the fender is going to bolt to. So this has got to go back, well, I'd say 1/4 of an inch, but it's got a little room. It's got a little room right here to go back, but I don't know if I got a 1/4 inch. I might have to massage all this to get it to go back a little bit. But that's aftermarket parts. I've got to trim a little bit off of this so it can sit a little more flush against the cab there. But I guess overall, I guess it's a pretty good fit. It could be worse, but honestly, I'd rather have the holes line up better and then have to work some of this other stuff. You know, but it is what it is. This is what I've got. So yeah, it's that's actually kind of the easy part, I guess. I got to make this piece, and it's so angled everywhere. This is going to be real fun. I got to fix this too, and I have to put a piece right here to fix that. So that's the way this rust goes. You find more when you start digging into it. But yeah, I'm going to be fiddling around with this, trying to get it to line up with all them holes there. Okay, so I got this cowl on the workbench, and I actually separated this piece with the big nut that's welded to it. So I had to separate it because I got to move it because it's not in the right spot. So I've already moved this nut back, and I test fitted it, and that's right where it needs to be. So now I got to move this back a little bit, like so. I'm just going to spot it right now, and then I'm going to retest it, and then I'll hit all these spot welds, those spot weld holes. I'll re-weld it on. So yeah, I got to run over to the welder and get it welded on real quick. First I'm going to clamp it here, and then I'll go to the welder and weld it on. But I'm going to spray the bottom of this, hopefully, with some weld through primer. I don't know where I put it. I gotta go find it, but yeah, I'll spray that first because I won't be able to get any of this coated once I get this spotted on there. So yeah, it's yeah, more of that aftermarket parts. You gotta modify them to get them to work. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with this. I got a little patch piece right here for this section. I re-welded this on. I gotta do the spots. I just kind of welded it to see if I can get it in the right spot. The hole for the fender, you can see the threads almost centered in there, good enough. And then I've got this thing pretty much in the center of that hole too. So this is actually ready to go back on. Now I gotta fix or make a panel for this, and then we'll be ready to probably get all this welded in after I go up behind all these panels, and I got to treat it with some sort of rust paint. So yeah, I got to figure out this piece now. Okay, so I've been at the bench here working a little bit. I got that piece cut out, and there it is. There was one spot weld. Actually, it's probably two spot welds, but that one was rotted right there off. So wasn't too difficult to get this off. So what I ended up with after a little bit of work here is I got this piece right here, and this actually came from, this is a cab corner from a 99 to 07 Chevy truck. It was some leftover I had from one of my projects. So that's where I got the metal to make this. So it already had the 90 in it. So I just used that. I'm not going to need most of this lip. So I just need to probably just spot weld a little bit in there to get my, or to cover my cut mark there to bend it. But I'm going to leave it long for now, and I'm going to weld it in. You can see this piece. I don't need hardly any of that. But anyway, there's my little patch piece. Let's go fit it up on the truck. Okay, so there's kind of a quick mock-up. I didn't spend a lot of time fitting it there. I think I need to do a little more trimming on this edge here to give me a little gap to weld. And then, like I said, I got to trim this. I don't need that much of that 90 right there. But I think I'm going to weld it on there, and then I'll trim it up, make it look nice. But yeah, that pretty much completes this. The LMC is calling this an upper cowl. I thought it was the lower cowl, but they're calling that piece the upper cowl. I don't really understand that, but that's what they call this. That's what they're calling this rust repair piece right here. But I've got the outside, all the patch pieces ready. But I think I'm going to end the video here because I got to do some rust paint on the inside of this before I spot weld it on. And also I've got to do, I want to do this rocker here before I put that piece on there. Just to get it out of my way. It won't be in the way there while I'm welding, because I got to cut all this out, looks like. So I want this out of the way while I do that. So yeah, guys, this is kind of the end of the video. I got pretty much everything took care of here. Just really needs to be spot welded on. So hopefully you enjoyed this little video. Making a little progress on the truck. Maybe eventually we'll get this thing done. I'll see you guys.